Now that we know that microorganisms undergo asexual and sexual reproduction, let's now talk about the reproduction in plants, starting first with the asexual reproduction. Now, take note that there are 6 ways of natural sexual reproduction in plants. So what are they? Now, for us to easily remember the 6 natural asexual reproductions in plants, just remember the acronym BRACS. Letter B is bulb, letter R, rhizome, letter A, adventitious roots, letter C, corm, T it would be tubers, and letter S would be stolon. So this will be very easy for us to remember. Just remember the acronym BRACS. Again, bulb, rhizome, adventitious roots, corm, tubers, and stolon. Now, let's talk about the meaning of each one of them. Starting first with the word bulb. Now, do remember that bulbs are underground buds that have fleshy leaves. So that's the most important thing that you have to remember about bulbs. Fleshy leaves extending from them. So bulbs are food storage units for future developing of the plants. And one of the more popular example of the bulb would be onion, as you are already very familiar with this one. So remember, these have fleshy leaves. And here's a video that will show us how onion plants can be grown from onion bulbs. You have a lot of onion sprigs. You can actually profit from this by gathering, harvesting this, and then growing them again. So this will be one way of producing new plants from bulbs. Here's another video that will show us how to grow onion from simple onion tops. So we're done with letter B for bulb, and we'll proceed with letter R, which is for rhizome. Now the thing that you have to remember about rhizome is that these are continuously growing horizontal underground stems. And later on, they will be putting out lateral shoots and also adventitious roots as well. And the prime example to that would be the ginger, and other examples would be bamboo and also canna lilies. You can see here that at intervals it will produce the shoot, and also at intervals it will be producing the root as well. Now here's a video that will show us in a time lapse how ginger, a rhizome, would be producing another plant asexually. So now we can see how interesting it is that a new shoot is growing out from the rhizome. And from that one rhizome, you are able to produce several pieces as well. So that's how rhizomes can be used for asexually reproducing and propagating different plants. The third one is what we call as adventitious roots. So we're done with B, bulb, R, rhizome, and letter A, adventitious roots. And the most important thing that you have to take note of is the idea that the adventitious roots are actually very adventurous. The reason being that the roots are actually growing not only from the root side but also growing in the stems and also the leaves. And one of the prime example here would be katakataka in Filipino, or what we call in English as mother of thousand. I remember when I was still in elementary that we would be getting a leaf of the katakataka, put it inside of our notebooks, and a couple of weeks later open up the notebook and we will notice that there would be a lot of roots that are growing from the margin of the leaf. It's interesting also that the katakataka, or the mother of thousands, are able to produce plantlets which later can grow into new mother of thousand plants. Here's a video that will show us how these are propagated.
This is mother of thousands, and it propagates by making lots of little babies on the edges of its leaves. When the babies have reached maturity, it will drop off the leaf and go into the soil, and you can actually see some rooting in there right now. This is a fantastic plant if you have a bright, sunny windowsill and you're comfortable with taking care of succulents already. It's especially great if you like sharing with your friends, because you can simply, when the leaves are, when they have like the roots on there like that, you can just kind of run your fingers along right there. All of them come off. They'll root very readily, just about in anything. Be careful. But it's a great plant to share. It's an awesome one to have in your collection because you can share it with so many people. It's fantastic.
And that's very interesting. And another example of adventitious root would be this tree. This is, you will see the adventitious root growing from the large branches and also from the trunk itself. I remember that there is this same kind of tree in UP Los Baños, if ever you have been there. And when we were little kids, we would be holding on to these branches or to this adventitious root and just swing around with the other kids. So it's kind of nice to do this with the adventitious roots. Now we're done with that. We are done with letter B, bulb, R for rhizome, A for adventitious root, and now we proceed to letter C, which is corm. The thing that you have to remember about the corm is that these are rounded, thick, modified underground stem. So if the bulb would be fleshy leaves and bud, the rhizome would be underground stem, the adventitious roots would be roots coming out of the leaves and also the branches. The corm will also be an underground stem. And this will be bearing membranous or scaly leaves and buds. And the prime example for this one would be the taro, as you can see here. In Filipino, we call that as gabi. There are also other examples like the crocus and the gladiola. Now here's a video that will show us how the taro can grow from just one piece, producing another plant. And that's how you grow taro, which is a corm, asexually. So there are several buds that were produced, and then later on that you can place it in soil and growing several other taro plants. So we're done with letter B, bulb, R for rhizome, A for adventitious root, C for corm, and now we proceed to T, which is the tuber. These are enlarged, fleshy, underground stems. An example for this one would be the potato, and this is actually very familiar with us, smiling over here. And of course, there's another video that I'll be showing you how we can grow potatoes.
Did you know it's super easy to grow your own fresh potatoes at home, regardless of how much growing space you actually have? Pop your seed potatoes in an old egg box with the eyes facing up, and very soon they'll start to sprout. You can use any container as long as it's got holes in the bottom. Plant out your potatoes with the sprouts facing upwards and give it a good water. As soon as the sprouts emerge through the soil, cover them back up with some compost. After about 60 days, they'll start to look like this, and then after about 90, they'll look like this. As soon as the foliage starts to die back, they're ready to harvest. Just tip them out and enjoy your fresh potatoes.
And that's how you produce potatoes using its tubers. Now, for the last of the asexual means of reproduction in plants, it's number 6, which is S for Stolon. This is defined as a creeping horizontal plant or runner, and that's the most important thing you have to remember for Stolon, horizontal plant, stem, or runner, that would be taking root at points along its length to form new plants. And one of the examples for the Stolon would be the Macahiya plant, Mimosa pudica, and other plants that have runners or horizontal plant stem. Now here's a short video showing the propagation of plants using stolons. Now in this example, strawberry plants were produced